Perhaps there is more bad care in the world than good care in the world, and I think it's worth our noticing this. There are many forms of unjust acts that masquerade as care. Let me just talk about a few of these. Think about colonialism as a discourse of care. Uma Narayan warned us early, back in 1995, that when feminists use the word care, they have to be aware of the discursive history of this language. In 19th century Great Britain, the language of colonialism was used as a language of care, that we were going elsewhere to civilize and cultivate those people, not to steal their resources. And it was an especially useful project for recruiting women to the project of, especially useful language to recruit women to the project of colonialism. Judith Steen and later Iris Young used the language of protection rackets to talk about the fact that powerful people, sometimes men in households, sometimes political leaders, use the language of protection. They demonize those whom they think are a threat, and they infantilize those who are too weak to protect themselves. As Young puts it, it is not a good thing for democratic citizens to think they need protection. Paternalism. This argument goes all the way back to the 1990s. Paternalism grows out of the fact that, well, longer than that care responds to needs. But needs are always subject, as Fraser and Gordon put it, to a politics of needs interpretation. When the version of needs determined by caregivers rather than care receivers predominate, such paternalism is a form of unjust and bad care. Think about the arguments, you hear them all the time, I understand they're now, that welfare benefits are bad because they make one dependent upon the state. Bad to be dependent. Better, we're going to cut you loose. Okay. Parochialism. Parochialism, that is, caring more for one's own family, group, neighborhood, community, often produces unjust care because it passes off harms to others without acknowledging them. For example, in the United States, property taxes finance education. That means that richer communities have much better schools than poor communities, ensuring that it's easier for children from wealthy communities to succeed. And finally, self-care. Now, not all forms of self-care are bad. For example, in the context of taking care of oneself in challenging situations, the Black Lives Matter, for example, recognize the importance of self-care as a vital part to continuing the movement. But self-care can become another form of bad care when it inoculates against insights. The extensive self-care industry is a way to justify capitalist extraction. The message is if you spend the right money on yourself, you'll be empowered, better able to face life's difficulties. So self-care, too, can be an uncaring thing, masquerading as care. So with all these forms of bad care, the key question becomes, how do we distinguish bad care from good care? How do we know when we are caring well or caring badly? Now, this question actually becomes two questions, and these become the two parts of the paper. How do we recognize bad care? And second, how do we start from caring economies and caring democracies to go on from there?